Last week on Outback House, there was great excitement at the arrival of the hawker and the new governess.
Yes, almost elegant, but not quite, sorry.
Danielle, the kitchen maid, left Oxley Downs.
Because it's not being here that makes it hard, it's being away from my family.
And the men pulled out all stops to wash the sheep before shearing.
It's good to see the end of that job. So next week, shearing.
Welcome to Oxley Downs, a 19th century sheep station cut off from the modern world. Out here, a group of Australians, men, women and children, are living as squatter family, domestic servants and station workers. They're on their own, and just like the original pioneers, success or failure is entirely up to them. Join them as they take on the challenge of outback life for real in 1861. The mustering of the sheep heralds the most important week of Oxley Downs' year. The shearers arrive today and will have just 6 days to shear the flock of over 1,300 sheep. The station's financial future hangs on that deadline being met. But the great uncertainty is the weather, because shearers will not work on wet sheep.
94, 96, 98, 100. It's certainly cloudy and it looks like it's going to rain, but I don't think it will rain. Yeah, I think certainly if it rains we can't shear, but I don't think it will rain, no. You Blaze?
Here, in the smoke and heat of the kitchen, the arrival of the shearers means only one thing for Bridget, the cook: more work.
It's going to be all systems go in the kitchen, pretty full on. They need breakfast earlier than everybody else. They stop at 9:30 and have morning tea. They stop at 12 and they have lunch. Then 3, afternoon tea, and then 6, dinner. So it'll be busy, busy, busy.
With none of his station hands having ever worked inside a shearing shed, the squatters handed over management of the shearing operation to the one man who does know about sheep, his head shepherd, Bernie Kennedy.
How long do you reckon it's going to take them to shear a sheep?
Well, the word is I think they do about 60 a day. I would have thought they would have done a few more than that, but I think they're going to do about 60 a day, that's the word.
Do you think we'll be finished by Saturday, or...?
I hope to be, Mel, yeah. Right. Yeah. The shed's designed so it's easy to work, and we're just hoping that the skies don't open. But anyway, if they do, they do.
Few storms about.
The shearers themselves, who in the 1860s would walk from property to property, are on a tight schedule. They can only work at Oxley Downs for 6 days because of commitments they have at other stations.
How are you?
That's all right. Good. We've been expecting you.
Long walk. On here.
Not too bad, huh?
How you going? Justin Campbell.
These men usually work with machine-driven shears, but in the 19th century, these sheep would have been shorn by hand blades. So the men will find the work hard.
All right. There we go.
In 1861, shearers were paid £1 sterling for every 100 sheep shorn. It was skilled, back-breaking work, but good money if you could get it.
Don't cut him.
So there's a real method, like you start at a certain point.
Yeah, start at a certain point, just follow around it.
I'm just...
That's what I'm saying. You pick with one hand and the other hand you turn it in like that, so you know it's done.
Station hand Russell, who pulled ligaments in a riding accident, has been given lighter duties in the shearing shed. He's been made the wool classer.
The main fleece of it is very soft in your fingers, very soft to handle, very bright. So
If the squatter's going to succeed and get a top price for his wool, it's essential that Russell does his job well. With Bernie's guidance, it means separating each fleece into 3 categories. Each category is then baled separately according to the length, colour and strength of the wool. Just as the shearers get a run on, the squatter's worst nightmare arrives. Heavy rain during shearing.
Starting to come down a bit harder now.
Starting to get a bit wet, boys. We'll have to have a bit of a meeting soon.
Looks like we're going to be stopping. The rain's pretty well set in.
the shearers are just knocked off. As you can see, there's rain coming through the shed, and the sheep are a bit damp, and it's too hard to handle the wool, and it's too hard on the shearers shearing a bit sheep, so we can't continue. So we've just got it in the lap of the gods now.
All right, go fit for the day.
I do too.
I'm settling in. I'm not a bet man, but I'm tipping say.
With the first day of shearing a washout, the squatter's got a crisis on his hands. He needs over 200 sheep shorn each day to finish in time. But today's total is woefully short of that.
What did we get done today? 8 sheep? 9 sheep? 3, 6, 9? No, I think we're 13. 13? 13 done today.
Okay. There you go.
There you go.
Paul, there you go. Not too bad.
Yourself?
That's good. Take a seat. Yeah, sort of
check what the situation was,
Yeah,
given
well,
the fact that we got this rain. How you were placed for...
Dave and I, we're going to head off, we can head off Sunday late, Sunday afternoon.
You can't make any... Just can't stay after that. You got other commitments.
We have got to start on Tuesday because we have got a fair walk on the Monday.
You have to leave Sunday. Yeah, we'll have to leave Sunday. No way you can put it back. No, I don't think so.
Thanks very much. Thank you. No worries. Absolutely. Well, boys, let's hope for a sunny day tomorrow.
Yes.
There you go, Bernie.
Must have been, mate. All right? Yeah.
It's rained overnight and the sheep are soaked.
Not good, is it?
Not good.
No. Yeah, the boys are saying that they can feel a bit of not quite 100% dry. And they won't shear. The sheep are wet, they won't shear them, which is fair enough because you can get arthritis out of it. But I think that if it remains warm tonight, a bit of a wind, it'll help sort of dry them out a bit. Paul, do you want to pull that those rails across, and we'll put a wing in under.
water.
With the whole shearing operation now at the mercy of the elements, the men decide to take out some insurance against the weather.
Okay, you fold in half. Just do a quarter at a time.
They remove the tarpaulin from the haystack in order to cover the sheep pens at the shearing shed.
It's good to see everyone working there, getting the tarp on the shearing shed, but I sort of mixed feelings about it really. We'll be able to keep the sheep certainly drier, but the tarp's not going to stop everything. You know, you can see it's so cloudy out there. It's not a good drying day really. If the sun had come out and the wind had keep up, it certainly would be, but the cloud tends to keep the moisture in. So we'll just have to we'll go and muss them in and just see how they look. But it's not an ideal situation. It's for shearing, no, not at all. But that's the weather and that's agriculture.
Get up. Get up. Come on, mate. Get up.
It's horsepower that literally drives Oxley Downs.
Get up, boy.
And horses don't run on empty.
Get up.
So it's essential that the now exposed hay used to feed the horses is quickly put under shelter.
Right up. Good boy.
While the shearing may have ground to a halt, life at the station still has to go on. Here in the kitchen, cook Bridget has been up since 5 a.m. preparing food for the 20 people she is now feeding 3 times a day. And in the rush to shear the sheep, the kitchen's lifeline, the garden, can't be ignored. Station hand Dan is now not only working as a rouseabout in the shearing shed, he also has to make sure that the vital supplies from the garden keep coming.
Still a little bit damp.
I still are.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I better get a few out there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Station hand Adam has been given one of the most physically demanding jobs in the shed, wool pressing. The press enables him to compress 3 times more wool into each bale than if he was just trampling the fleeces down.
So far I've actually pressed this twice. They say on average you get the wool off about 80 sheep, fill a bale after it's been compressed. I'd say we might be about 60 or so here. There should be one more press to fill this bale. It's a bit of hard work doing the old wool press. Certainly know you're doing it.
It's been a long, hard day, and the shearers are exhausted. But they are still well short of the daily tally needed to meet Sunday's deadline. And as for the weather,
Mum and I drove right.
Yeah, but I'll just go down early and have a look. And have a look at the sheep and
Think about it now.
see if the canvas held up. And I'll come back and just tell the boys, and we'll probably start it straight after brekkie. What time's brekkie? Bridge?
About 6:30.
Probably get going by about 7:10.
the new day brings new problems. During last night's storm, the sheep, under cover in the pens, broke out. They're now drenched.
Yeah, I came up here about 6 this morning, and it was just a complete disaster. These little rails here, you see these little rails here? This little bloody thing? You know, the sheep were just walking in and out of there, and I think a couple of them come undone. That pen up there was a good pen, that one up there. Now we've got wet sheep because we had another big storm there last night, and we probably won't get going until, after lunch.
Or even if we just hang it off, like the weight's going to be there, and just hang him off there like that. That'll give it some... Reinforce it that way. And take him back to the board. Have to cut all those wires.
I think we'll need another rail in here. See, that's perfect height for sheep.
Yep.
We'll put another rail in there.
And a gate here, Bernie, you'd want it sort of swinging on this side and closing that way, so that when you got him full, or do you want it on the outside?
No, that's right, what you said. That's good.
Right, okay. Too easy. That's as good as done.
The recent arrival of the new governess, Fiona, has finally freed Julie to indulge her love of painting. It's a luxury Julie finds totally in keeping with her status as the squatter's wife.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Start again. This is the trials of playing with the piano with a key stick, isn't it?
The squatter, Paul, aware that his shearers can't stay, puts pen to paper. He writes asking neighbour Scott Turl if he knows of any shearers he can hire immediately.
Basically, the future of the economy here is at stake. If we don't get the clip in and out to market, we're running out of money. Simple as that.
With time at a premium, head shepherd Bernie decides the sheep are dry enough for the shearers to start work again by midday.
Bernie, were you drunk when you said these were dry?
Well, you got a wet one, mate?
What about yours, Dave? Wet or dry?
Yeah, it's a bit damp.
Yeah, I thought they were all pretty dry.
Here we are, our first bale.
Can you grab this?
Well, what a better race. Let's go. Come on, Alan.
What do you think of two there, Dave?
Go, Dave.
Don't move it ahead.
Come on, Justin.
He's on the front shoulder.
Oh, nice work around the ear there, Dave.
Go, Justin.
Oh, Dave.
Come on, Dave. Work, Dave. Work.
I'm going to beat you.
Oh, no. There you go, Dave. Second shoulder. Got the bloke ready now.
Here he goes.
Hey, go, Dave.
Down in the bin. Oh, I'm going. Oh. Smoker, is it?
Yeah, mate.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, with them a little bit. At 135.
Ooh, one behind, big fella. Hey. I'm just warming up too, and I've got to bug it back.
Now, girls, we are going off on an excursion again this morning. Where was the last place we went on an excursion to, Portia?
Same place we're going to now.
That's right, the shearing sheds. We have been collecting articles for our newspaper, right? And so each person's going to choose one of the men up in the shearing shed to talk to about what his job is in the shearing.
Do we have to all write one? Oh, can I do Russ?
I thought you were going to do Dan.
I want to do Russ.
So don't ask questions that only require a yes or no answer. Okay, ask an open question that allows the person to explain things to you.
What exactly are you when you're working up here?
That's Bernie's question, isn't it? I have no idea what Bernie's doing. I think he's doing a bit of everybody else's job for him.
Yes. Yeah, he's dragging the sheep out, helping casting the wool. He's doing all that kind of job.
Right, so he's doing a little bit of everything. Hello, guest lecturer Kennedy.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us today.
No, it's our pleasure.
Now this morning when we're here, Mr. Kennedy, we're actually gathering facts for our newspaper that we're writing.
I see.
So each of the girls has got an interview to do this morning.
Oh, have they?
Will that be all right with you if the people in your shed are giving interviews as they're working?
Yes, we can certainly accommodate that.
very
That won't be a
clever.
problem at all.
Okay. Question number 1. You know how you've got a fractured pelvis? Does it affect you?
Yes, it does, because just standing here puts pressure on it, and so I sit down a lot.
Bill,
Yeah, mate.
I've got some questions for you.
Yes, fire away.
Have you ever cut yourself with those very sharp blades?
Yes, I have. Yes, a couple of times. Pushing through the wall, sometimes it can be very tight. And then if it goes all of a sudden and your hand's in the road, you can cut yourself. So, yes, I have.
What exactly are you when you're working up here?
Well, that is a good question. I'm the boss. I'm the teacher.
Boss, teacher, preacher, shepherd.
I got your little one.
I didn't do that.
Oh.
Okay, start jumping. Stomping right down in the corners. Side. Good work, keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
For the girls, it's the end of another school day in the classroom called Oxley Downs. But cook Bridget's day is far from over. With yet another meal to prepare, she has to make do with whatever utensils are available.
Tools make life easier. They make the job much faster, of course. But, you know, this is kind of nice too, standing out in the rain by a water pump, scrubbing potatoes.
I'll let you. See the water coming out of there, look.
So there, yeah, definitely.
Too wet.
Way too wet. Yep.
What's the verdict, boys?
I think it's fair to say we call it a day. Unbelievable.
With shearing washed out once again, the shearers have challenged Oxley Downs to an afternoon cricket match. Paul's even made the ball.
A wooden ball with leather tacked in around it.
There's just that
Deadly.
used there, and they'd be over the hill there.
Yeah. And nails?
Normally the wet weather stops play, but in this case it actually resumes it. Heads.
We've got our heads.
Don't let him intimidate you, Adam.
Go, two, quick! Make two twos.
So we've been beaten by an NS in 6 runs. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but that's the way it goes. Well done, mate. Good
game, Adam.
Good on
Good
you.
game.
Lovely guys. Good game. Good game.
Hey, girls. You got something under there for me, girl. 7 eggs. It's a bit of a turn up for the books. The chooks have been sort of off the lay for days, but that's really good. We put some sawdust in from packing from that came with the stores, and they love it. So that's good. We've got the egg numbers back up, so they'll be happy in the kitchen.
One person who is not so happy is Julie. She's just upped the ante with laundry maid Claire, banning the devout Christian from singing any carols at all until Christmas Eve.
For 3 months we've listened to Claire sing, and her voice travels, and so when the group are together, we don't get a break. It's like a radio. She sings all day, different things coming out all the time, and we can't turn it off. We just can't turn the radio off.
I started just singing Silent Night the other day really quietly to myself, and I hear Julie going, "Be quiet, Claire." It's like living with a Nazi. She says, "Oh, Claire, you know, you can sing anything else, but just not Christmas carols." I'm like, who do you think you are, you know? Of course, to her face, I have to say, yes, of course, yes, all right, Julie, but she knows I'm getting really pissed off, and Paul sees me so frustrated. I can't handle this. I cannot handle this.
Over at the shearing shed, Bernie's also having problems. The rain is back.
I'm just going to cover it for now. Okay. Until this rain subsides a bit. Down already on there. It's just a...
Every new downpour is another nail in this first-time squatter's financial coffin. With the shearers having to leave tomorrow, right now, he's staring at economic ruin.
We're getting washed out again for the 6th day in a row. We're in a bit of strife, really. Got only about 25% done in 1 week. We're hoping to get the whole lot done, which means basically another 1,000 sheep to shear. There's not much point in railing against the weather.
With Paul not knowing when and if any new shearers might arrive, he takes the opportunity to give Bridget a break.
Yeah, it's a little bit tiring. I don't seem to get too many breaks or anything at the moment. So
The only thing we can do to
Well, I would like to have some time out, some time off.
I'm pretty sure the shearers won't be here on Monday.
So
At this point in time, if I'm biased, they're leaving tomorrow. So it's pretty unlikely we'll get another crew of shearers straight in immediately. So Monday would be a really good day for you just to have off.
Okay, well that would suit me really well. If
Next morning, the sun's out and optimism returns. The tarpaulin has been removed from the roof as the shearers begin their last day's work on Oxley Downs.
You won't get any rain for a week. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it's...
Bernie's great weather predictions.
Yeah, it won't rain for a week. It's rained itself out now.
Good mud.
I can see it pushing, but it's not through yet. It's got through.
See this part here? This is where it's dangerous. It'll go into there.
Why is it dangerous?
Because if you get your fingers caught, there's a lot of pressure there. If you get your fingers caught, or jammed in there, it'll hurt quite a lot. Do some damage.
Do you do running stitch?
Just one stitch, yes.
Running stitch.
Running stitch? No, I don't do running stitch.
Don't you know what running stitch is?
No, what's running stitch? Can you tell me?
Running stitch is when you go up, down, up, down.
Well, it's not quite, is it?
Yeah, that's running stitch.
It is running stitch, so I do know what a running stitch is. Well, I do now. I didn't know the name for it before. It was just a stitch that I found was the best way to seal them.
Bridget's already worked out how she'll spend her day off tomorrow.
I'm just going to go away from everybody where it's quiet. I'm just going to sleep and swim and eat and read all day. It's going to be fabulous. Can't wait.
The girls have put their first edition of the Oxley Downs Daily to bed. They've met their deadline before the shearers leave this afternoon.
Extra, read all about it. Oxley Downs Okay.
Oh, look at this.
Man seeks pelvis. Lonely 40-something seeks pelvis for long-term relationship. Enjoys long, very slow walks around the station and meaningful discussions about bourbon.
Tuesday the 8th of December, a day to be reckoned with. And so was the Oxley Downs cricket team, or so we thought. The local team of Oxley played the visiting team of shearers, appropriately named Let It Rain, We Get Paid the Same.
Bring on the next shed, boys.
Yeah, I reckon. You're going to be springing your step still.
As Paul writes the shearers' paychecks, it's clear he has a major problem.
Well, good working with you, mate.
After 6 days shearing, there's still 1,000 sheep unshorn. The squatter has to find new shearers fast. Paul's just received a letter from his neighbour, Scott Turl. Because of the rain, the river has risen, and Scott hasn't been able to get his sheep across to shear them. With the shearing postponed, he's now offering his shearers to Oxley Downs.
He's got 5 shearers. Okay, we've got them for 3 days from tomorrow.
We're
coming tomorrow.
3 days. From tomorrow?
Yep.
Bridget's crushed by the news. Her hopes of a day off are now gone.
What time they coming in?
I don't know. To see Paul. We haven't got enough food.
Huh? 2 hours in the morning.
Maybe just a half day or something.
What do you think about the good news?
There's a burger here for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the shearers.
Where are they from? Three New Zealanders, 2 Aussies. Should be able to get at least 250 a day.
Yeah, anything to do with sheep. Kiwis are, you know, have always been in front of the Aussies, really.
How many got this through?
5.
5?
5?
5, yeah.
You can't really
Can you manage?
Have to.
Sorry.
Definitely. It's not going to happen.
Surely you can have a bit of a sleep in.
Yeah, do
Well, they're not coming for breakfast.
I can't sleep in anymore.
Yeah, the boys.
Morning. Hey. See you. Morning. We're glad to get here.
Hi.
Hi, Paul and Alan. Paul. Please meet you.
Russell, yeah, Russell, Al. Good, mate.
Hello, mate.
Bernie, how are you, Bernie?
Hello there. Right.
How you going? Good,
Really good, Peter. How are you? Mel. We're going to get playing on the start. Well, we'll get a start this morning, won't we?
Straight away. Sooner the better.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. Yeah, it starts. Okay.
I think a bit of repair work.
We got 10 people to fly.
Immediately, there's a sense of purpose in the shed. These new shearers, 3 New Zealanders and 2 Australians, clearly mean business.
How do you do this?
The New Zealanders are all professional blade shearers. Every year they spend 4 months shearing on high-altitude sheep stations in the Southern Alps of New Zealand. Blade shears are deliberately used because they leave an extra inch of wool on each sheep's back, protecting the animals from perishing in the sub-zero conditions.
Just a totally different feel in the shed. The most noticeable difference is their professional attitude the shearers have got. They came here to shear and they want tallies. And everyone working in the shed has had to lift the speed they're working at, and everyone's done that. And it's just a lot better feel in the shed. You know, things are happening, sheep are getting shorn, and it's really flowing. It's going very well.
What do you say, every 2 hours you do this?
Well, yeah, in a normal situation I'd grind every 2 hours, but these sheep are so friggin' tough, I'm grinding every hour. There's so much sand in that on the bellies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is a sight the squatter hasn't seen all week. Pens full of shorn sheep.
This little thing needs a brace.
It does. I think we were just sort of going.
That's all right. I'm just washing them anyway, so. Yeah.
Another little talk.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
I've just been up to the shearing shed and they're really focused.
Absolutely.
And there's 5 of them. They were going gung-ho. Very, very different to the last 5.
Yeah? Are they faster?
They're faster.
Oh.
And they just want it done. So any conversations that you want after dinner, after wash up.
Yep. No
So
worries.
not at dinner.
No.
Let them eat.
Good. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, after dinner. Good stuff. After wash up.
While Claire may be on notice about talking to the shearers, she's been given permission by Julie to rehearse a concert she and the girls are putting on for the station.
Oh, I dreamt I saw in a shearing shed, and it was a dream of joy. For every one of the rouseabouts was girl dressed up as a boy. Dressed up like a page in a pattern, now I'm the prettiest ever seen. They had flaxen hair, they had coal black hair, and every shade between. There was 3 of them girls to every chap, and as jealous as they could be. There were 3 of them girls to every chap, and 6 of them picked and me. We were drafting men out to the hardwood track and shelling them round like steam. When I rolled my head in the blazing sun, to find it a shearer's dream.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so the wall shouldn't slip along. It should, see how it's slipping along the edge of the cutting edge there? It shouldn't do that. It should just cut straight through it.
Hi. You're very kind.
That's near enough to what I want now. That's good.
How many sheep have you done today?
213.
It's a real good rig.
Because Georgette Mannering in the Southern Alps is from my great-grandfather.
All right.
Because he was the first to climb the tallest 20 peaks.
What's your game plan? What are you going to climb? What are you going to do?
Well, I just want to go out there and get with a group and start doing some walks. I've climbed Mount Peel.
Oh, yeah.
So where are you guys from?
I'm a Geraldine anyway, so.
Go get your dinner, boys. I'll talk to you.
No, after wash up.
Sorry. Yeah, completely. Being in the laundry, washing everybody's clothes, and the pile is that high.
You don't need much more to insulate. We only wanted to like that, you know, a little.
So what's the weather like
Right,
compared to New Zealand?
Wow.
It's a lot colder over there.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. One off against the other. If someone charges the roof, they're charging too much, they'll try and
Yeah, I know.
Next morning, Julie, angry at Claire because she's dallied with the shearers last night before she washed up, confronts the maid.
Eat, get it done, come over, wash up, go back and talk. They sat there afterwards. They sat there for another half an hour, 40 minutes.
I just don't understand.
Someone else picks up your work the next
Julie,
morning.
how can I sit and ignore everybody? No. When all I want to do is just sit down, relax, have my dinner, get up and do the dishes and then carry on.
But it doesn't
I don't
happen that
understand
way.
why everybody else can talk to people except for me.
You can talk, but everything stops when you talk because
No,
you're
it
still...
doesn't.
No, you're still sitting on that seat talking. Everyone else has washed their plate. You're still there. Totally. Then it gets dark and you can't finish the dishes. It's a very simple request.
I went to do the dishes last night, Julie, but
It
Bridget
was
said
dark.
don't do it.
Because it was dark. You couldn't and see what you were doing. If you hadn't have spoken to them, it was light when the pans were put there. Get up and do it.
All right, Julie.
It's a time factor.
Tell you what I'll do. Tonight, I'm going to take my dinner elsewhere, eat it, do the dishes.
That's not what I'm asking you to do.
You're asking me not to talk to people.
I go over there, I eat my dinner, I have a conversation, I finish my dinner, I get up and I do it. I don't sit with my plate next to me for 25 minutes.
Wasn't 25 minutes at all, Julie.
Claire, you have no idea of time. I've waited 9 weeks.
Thank you, Julie. Okay. Can I go home now? I'd really like to go home. Yep, bloody hard. He thinks I'm not good enough to sit down and talk to people at dinner time. It's not fair at all. I work damn hard. I work just as hard as the men over there. All day in the laundry, all day. My hands are raw by the end of a washing day, and all I want to do is sit down and just chat and eat my dinner, and I can't even do that without being told off.
Julie spoke in a way that was fairly unreasonable. I would certainly never speak to anybody in that way, and if anybody spoke to me that way, I would probably walk out. So I think it was rather harsh. I think it was also actually unwarranted because, in actual fact, the task that Claire was carrying out was one that she performs each night for me. And I specifically told Claire, leave the fry pans, that's fine. I'm up early in the morning and I'll deal with them, leave them to soak overnight. I did actually tell Julie that I'd said that to Claire, but Julie didn't really want to listen to that story.
Despite the upheavals at the homestead, the shearing itself is now right on track.
Oh, we should finish tomorrow night then?
That's it.
Yep, we're on target.
Yep.
And Julie is now more conciliatory.
I think after the argument or the confrontation that we had, I think she got a very bad shock. I have apologised. I don't know whether she actually understands why I put the boundaries on her, but she certainly pulled her socks up and automatically got to work with no instruction whatsoever.
With all the housework done, it's time for a sing-along on the shearer's last night.
Shear 100 sheep in a day, but some fine day I'll show him the way and prove I'm a right one shearer. If I don't shear a tally before I go, my shears and stone in the river I'll throw, and I'll never open stories or take another blow and prove I'm a right one shearer. There's a bloke up north or so I've heard, with a face like a dried up buffalo turd and a few things that's bad you ought to see his bird and prove I'm a right one shearer. Ye London maids, attend to me while I relate my misery. Through London streets I oft have strayed, but now I am a convict maid. Oh, could I but once more be free, I'd ne'er again a captive be, but I would seek some honest trade and never become a convict maid.
my catcher. We're ready to rumble.
Let's go, let's go. Hey, put the pressure on the catcher.
It's the shearers' last day at Oxley Downs. In 3 days, they've already shorn 800 sheep, and there's only 200 left to finish the job and cut out the shed. The daunting challenge of blade shearing over 1,300 sheep on time and on budget has almost been met. The squatters' men have all risen to the occasion. And these shearers, with their long blows and razor-sharp shears, are now within sight of the final tally.
15 to go, boys. 3 each. 3 each. Sounds pretty fair. You got a monster there, mate. Yep.
On the last one now, apparently. I think everyone will be pretty pleased.
There you go, Paul. Oh, you got you done. He's into it. He's into it. Look out. Good try.
Hey. That's a good job, well done.
63, I mean, for Brian.
How much to run?
Oh, putting up with too much in there, guys, it'll kill me. That'll do her. I won't fill her up.
Don't do that.
Tastes good.
There you go. Thanks, Paul.
There you go.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Tremendous help.
Cheers.
1 pound 14 and thrums.
Yeah, thanks, George. Appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, mate. Hope you enjoyed your stay, mate.
No, it's been good. Yeah.
I'd have to admit that it is pretty satisfying knowing that it is the last bale.
How do you get it out?
Bit of weight there, mate.
That's how you get it out. Oxydowns!
Cheers. Cheers. Good work, fellas.
The wall's in.
Well done, boys.
Pure satisfaction, mate.
Next week in the final episode of Outback House, the wool clip goes off to market.
$6.16 if you sell in London.
It's verdict time. Did Oxley Downs succeed or fail?
You don't necessarily expect to make money in the first year.
And the station celebrates Christmas. That's next week on Outback House.